Erickson.
Zach Veach.
Felipe Nasser, and you're listening to Checkers and Records.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you are having a fantastic one so far. We got a good amount to talk about here today. Checkers and Records, www.BWSPORTS1.com. Check us out, guys. We are live now. Thanks for joining us here. And a big shout out to each and every one of our partners here. Chummy, Motorsports, Harman Designs, ButtKicker, Driving for Dyslexia, Bruising Racewear, Shawn Nugent, the Rockstar Realtor, Doc Sports, and mybookie.ag, getting it all done for us here, guys. You all are the best. Elite Performance, Aries Academy, all of these guys getting it done here. Thanks for joining in today. We got some big news coming out of the IndyCar realm. We got some big news coming out of everywhere, really. Chili Bowl, Chili Bowl, Chili Bowl. Absolutely. I hope you had your fair share of some chili this week. I know I did. It was another good week for the Chili Bowl, and let's hop right on into that because this is where it gets a little interactive. I need you guys to talk with me here because I want to hear your opinions on that winner because Kyle Larson, you talk about a fantastic year last year. He gets it done last night. His second Chili Bowl win there, takes his second Golden Digger Award, and man, I'll tell you what a fantastic drive it was. You had Christopher Bell, the rest of the field just trying to take him out there, do everything they could to get around Larson, the arguably the best driver on dirt right now, arguably one of the better drivers in a car right now, I think, if you ask. And that's where I'm going to go with this here right now. That was a very rough track. Right now, though, is with the momentum that we see Larson carrying right now, with that strong run he's got going right now, he's hopping in a solid ride here in NASCAR next year. What do you think? I mean, do you think he gets a win? Do you think he's in the playoffs there? Do you think he has a long run there? I want to know your guys' opinions on this because I was talking to somebody the other day. I think we're going to see Larson with a solid 2 wins. He'll make it into the playoffs, obviously. But past that, I don't think he goes too far into it just because of I'm not going to say the pressure that's on Larson to perform next year, but he's got a lot of eyes on him next year. He's got a lot of people looking at what he's going to do, what he can do here in that Hendrick ride. So that's where I look forward to seeing what he can do coming off of a year with so much momentum. A lot of guys having dealt with what he has dealt with in this situation and in what Damon, I can't classify adversity here in this, is a lot of guys would have just kind of hid back behind a wall, maybe hope for a solid year off, just maybe personally, and got back with it in the next year if they were able to pick up a ride. Well, Larson wasn't happy with just sitting around doing nothing, so he went and raced what he truly loved in that dirt side. You could tell he's a driver, he's a racer. He wanted to be out there. He admitted his faults, and now it's. I think that momentum is almost going to carry him a little better here going into this next season than we have seen in the past. So it'll be interesting to see, no doubt, when it comes to that for sure. So I really look forward to seeing Larson come back, not only his return back because he's a good driver, but his return on such a strong run of momentum here, just a strong solid run he's had this season. It's very impressive to watch. Like I said, a lot of people faced with what he was faced with would have just went home and sat around for a year. They would have collected themselves, maybe not even got back to the track. So you do have to give him some sort of credit when it comes to that there. I think, like I said, he admits his wrong faults and everything there. So very Christmassy. I don't know about Christmassy. Hey, 'tis the season, right? All righty. Kyle, what do you think on that? What do you think we see Larson really run around in this next season in Cup? I mean, do you think you see him with a solid season? Do you think he has a good first season back, or do you think it's kind of a flop here? We'll see. Interested to hear what you guys have to think about that. So definitely share that with me. Let me know what you're thinking when it comes to that aspect of things. So, like I said, definitely look forward to seeing what he's got when he comes back into NASCAR, because I'll tell you what, that run yesterday at the Chili Bowl, just very impressive. And that's another thing. We talk about these other drivers that kind of make their one off, and Chase Elliott, we hear him talking because he makes the F main, and that's where he sits. He doesn't come out and he doesn't make the main event. So you talk to him afterwards, and you hear him saying, hey, maybe this shouldn't have been my second midget race. Maybe I did get into a little more than I was expecting here with the Chili Bowl. So it's kind of interesting to see that aspect there as well, to look at a NASCAR champion like Chase Elliott and a guy that can drive, but at the same time is still a little apprehensive. He says, hey, I bit off a little more than I could chew right here. This is some stuff right here. And I go back to H2K Racing, their case, and they were saying that was a rough track last night. And I think everybody would agree with you. Larson would agree with you, and definitely Christopher Bell. Like I said, these guys were going just right at each other. You knew Christopher Bell was going to give Larson a run for his money. Good morning, Katie. And he did just that. He gave him everything he had. That right rear, it clipped the cushion up on the top side, and Bell just went for a wild ride then. So I saw right before I went live, there's a video out there of Christopher Bell's flip from his onboard. So I will watch that. It goes to say, I know every time we see an accident like this, especially when they got a flip count at the Chili Bowl and it's up to 38 and these guys walk away, I think that goes into leaps and bounds and talks to the safety of the sport and really how far it's gone throughout the years. So again, Larson just with a absolute phenomenal. He even caught himself on that cushion a couple times, so he really had to save it. Bell caught him when he got caught up there, so it was a pretty good race. I will say I was a little disappointed in two things here when it came to the Chili Bowl. Number one, when you switch from Flow to Mav TV, that blows my mind, and I know it happens. I know it's been a thing, but it just. You have all the viewership with Flow. Flow has a very good broadcast, and then you switch to Mav TV, and the quality's off. These guys are talking over intros. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I was a little disappointed in that, and I was a little disappointed, and this is where this could be part me not knowing dirt as much as the asphalt side, but it just seemed like that track prep and everything took forever to get going. It didn't seem like we were racing until about 12:15 Eastern. And I get that they're behind us a couple hours. I think it's a 2-hour difference. But, man, made it a little hard to hold on. I was holding on loosely there, as Taylor would say. Hold on loosely. Don't let go, because there's some Chili Bowl action that we had going. So Connie's giving Scott Schroeder some good luck. Good luck, Scott. So we were talking Chili Bowl. We move into a big story of the week that nobody saw coming. I know my brother is a fan of this man. I know many other people, fans of the family in itself. But at the end of the day, Marco Andretti announces this week that he will step out of a full-time ride here in IndyCar, and he's going to focus on the Indianapolis 500 and his future for the most part. So he said he's not done with racing. He still wants to kind of go down the avenues of sports cars, do the endurance-style racing that we see coming on, maybe even take a 24-hour seat here, possibly. So he's reaching out to teams, I think in IMSA now, trying to see if he can get a ride going in some respect there. Like I said, his main focus here in IndyCar now going to be the Indianapolis 500 and the team that he runs with his father. But at the end of the day, I think we're shocked. Yes. Are we upset? I don't think a lot of us are. I'm going to read an excerpt here. I'm going to read what Rick Helms, a gentleman from the NSRL Night Shift Racing League, what he posted here. And I think this captures Marco's career pretty well here. He says, I wanted him to succeed so much. I've been an Andretti fan since I was a young teen, over half a century. I reveled in Mario's World Championship, and I was in the grandstands in Indy when he dominated the 1987 race until breaking with a handful of laps to go. I rooted for Michael, John, and Jeff as they carried the Andretti name into a second generation. When Marco came along to represent the third Andretti wave and nearly won the Indy 500 at his first attempt, losing in that last 100 yards to Sam Hornish Jr., I'd figured he'd bounce back, says Rick Helms. He never did. With an exception of a couple wins at Sonoma and Iowa and a sparse smattering of podium finishes elsewhere, his career is a parade of double-digit finishes in a sport where most races only have a couple dozen starts. He's been a consistent bottom half of the field driver. That's a shame. His father, Michael, was much more successful team owner than he was as a driver. And here's to hoping Marco finds his groove outside of the cockpit as well. So hopefully we do see him kind of make a run into the outside of the ownership, maybe team management, some kind of strategist, coach. I don't know exactly where the future lies for Marco, but I think the IndyCar fan base, I think the racing fan base is ready to be, and I say this in respect, but we're ready to be done with Andretti on the track for now. It's that those three, I think, have sat their stay for quite some time here, and it's time to let somebody else, whether it be step into that seat there with Marco, or whether it be the they leave a seat open and they focus more on the drivers that they have, because we've talked about that before with Andretti kind of being a little spread thin here. So maybe they focus more on the Indy Lights. Maybe that's something Marco could really take into a run of his own, is the managing that minor league team, if you will, for progression into, because you look at what Red Bull has done in F1, and I think that's something like what Andretti is trying to capture here in IndyCar. You have this feeder series in that Indy Lights, the USF 2000s and such like that. So Andretti really wants to grow his drivers and progress them through, train them almost, as if you will, to be a team of Andretti and not a race car driver. I guess if that makes any sense, you get them young enough, you progress them through the rankings in your team, and they're trained in the way you want them to. They don't have any other knowledge, so to speak, outside of the professional world here. So I think, and like you said, Chuck, I mean, a lot of people could say I'm a Marco hater. I don't like the person that gets by just off of a name. And unfortunately, like Rick said, I think that's kind of where Marco got off, because in a sport that a lot of people don't make as half as many starts as he does, but they finish above him. So I think there was a little name there, but it'll be nice to see. I think Marco has the ability to do something strong in sports cars. I think Marco has the ability to be a solid competitor still in the racing atmosphere, just not in IndyCar. I think that is past him. So I think, like Rick said, after that defeat by Sam Hornish Jr. in that 500, unfortunately, it held that gray cloud over his career there, and it was really hard for him. I mean, you had that sitting there. You had the name Andretti over here as well. That's tough to overcome there. So I really see Marco. I don't see. I hope that he finds a good groove, like Rick says, in the outside of the cockpit there. So looking forward to see what he could bring. A little more news in IndyCar is that seat at Foyt we know has filled. So that name with Grosjean, that possibility there, that's gone. So now instead of Grosjean, instead of Foyt, we've got Grosjean talks going up here with Coyne now. So there's links there. So supposedly Romain Grosjean could very possibly still be coming to IndyCar in that seat. So still a couple seats to fill. Like I said, you got that possible seat with Marco. Is that a seat that's filled, or does Andretti kind of push this one off and say, okay, let's get going here. Let's fully understand what we got as a team. Let's get a grasp here, and let's get back on track for championships before we add another car back into the mix here. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of unfolds. So we move into a little iRacing here today, and we get ready for some endurance racing as the 24-hour of Daytona fires off here this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here this next weekend. They got a couple splits here, a couple different opportunities for you guys to get into it. I know the guys over at ECRS, I'll be riding with them, and there's a couple teams going in there. You do have to be a C road license, and you got to be up to date on that. You got to have that Daytona track, obviously, in one of those cars that you're running in. It's a 24-hour race. There's guys looking. So if you want to be part of it, it's not too late. It's not too late at all. It's this week. But there's guys looking for teams all over the place. You can hop in, maybe meet a friend, maybe meet a buddy. There's nothing wrong with that. Come on out and have some fun over there. And I'll tell you what, the 24-hour, those endurance racing on iRacing, it's a really good time. It's a blast. You get to sit down and really it's just a group of guys having just a good old time. That's at the end of the day, just a good old time there. So take it. That will hit the recap. That'll hit the recap. I can't brag too much about my winning in the B yesterday. Woo, woo. So got excited there, but yeah, looking forward to the weekly recap we got coming at you. We got loads of stuff coming through CWTV as more leagues are going to start unfolding here, get going. We look forward to that. And guys, if you are running a CWTV, if you got a checkers and wreckers, anything like that, send me the pictures. I want to get those in each and every week on that weekly recap. I love seeing what you guys are doing out there. I know somebody was involved. They ran a checkers and wreckers scheme yesterday in the 6 hours of iRacing at the iRacing Super Speedway. So a very interesting run there, iRacing Super Speedway. What's like, what, huh? It's 6 hours. Can't imagine being a driver in that there. So, you know, it's always fun. That's what I like about iRacing is you get to see a little of the kind of the awkward in racing too. You got to make your own fantasy race. You got to make your own world there, I guess. So looking forward to practicing here, getting hard and heavy with it this week. The 24 hours of Daytona coming at you. And then we got some more fun. Like I said, CWTV going to get live back in action here with some more leagues. Monsters of Dirt going to be starting up. We got Kings of Sling getting into full throw here. So definitely looking forward to that and everything we got going there. So, guys, thanks again for hopping on here today. A little shorter, I know. Not much to talk about here in the off season. So we'll be looking to get some guests on. We're going to talk a little more karting here as we go forward. We're gonna be moving into to what these guys want to see in the off season. So we really appreciate you guys for tuning in here and Checkers and Wreckers here today. You guys are the best. Appreciate you, each and every one of you. A big shout out again to each and every one of our partners: MyBookie, Harman Designs, Chummy, Motorsports, ButtKicker, Driving for Dyslexia, a Bruzy Racewear, Shawn Nugent, the Rockstar Realtor, and Doc Sports. Guys, we'll see you later. Till then, peace.